The big can antenna is a derivative of the soup can antenna. I don't know how many people have made soup can antennas. Soup cans have seams in them, and if there's electrical contact on the seam, it's strictly accident. So if you solder a soup can together, you may have a good contact, you might not have. On this one here, we have positive contact. Now, the derivative of the thing goes back to the Zeppelin, where they had to have an antenna trailing off the back end of a Zeppelin for communication. Lower frequencies. This guy, Zeppelin, Ferdinand was his name, von Zeppelin. He designed the Zepp itself. The communication from that was on lower frequencies below the broadcast band, hundreds of meters long. Well, you can feed an antenna at a quarter wave, but then you've got a high current point right where you're feeding. The maximum radiation, of course, is always at the high current point. So here you got a metal Zeppelin, and you have a high current point. The likelihood of ignition of the hydrogen and poof. At the beginning of the First War, Germany wanted to get helium from us, and we were pretty sure what they were up to. We refused to sell them helium, so they manufactured their hydrogen and took their chances. But the advantage of the Zepp is that they have a quarter wavelength of line. They feed the long wire a long way away, and at the input end, you have a low voltage at the bottom, like on the cans, and the high voltage is a quarter wave away, a couple of hundred meters probably, and you feed the antenna itself at a high voltage point. So they get away from the likelihood of explosion. Okay, now the marks have been long obliterated, but we'll find out what it is. This part of it is the 440 attachment, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Thank you.
The cans have nothing to do with the radiation. All of the radiation is the half wave up above. And it's no better than any half wave antenna. You can take two pieces of wire, make a dipole, string it up with string, feed the coax off at right angles, and it'll be just as good as this one. The beauty of this one is that you can pile around a bunch of equipment in the room. You can actually grab the cans up here, and it doesn't affect the meter. We'll show that here.
What purpose do the cans serve then?
That's a good question. I'm glad you brought it up because I don't have any notes. The cans form a transforming action. You have a shorted can here, have an open can here, a quarter wave long, so you transform from a zero impedance to a high impedance. Now what's the impedance of a half-wave dipole? At the ends, it's 2,000 to 4,000 ohms. The middle of it is, of course, somewhere around 72 ohms, close enough match for 50 ohms. But if you're going to feed it at the middle, then you got to keep the coax going off at right angles for a good quarter wave, and you got a dangling coax. And you got the bottom of the antenna that's high voltage. So the advantage of this one is that you can stack it in with a whole bunch of equipment, pile anything around like my shack is, and it doesn't affect the radiation. The radiation always is at the high current, which is a quarter wave down from the top, and then a quarter wave again is high voltage. So we're talking about a high voltage point at the top of the can. Now if you put a can into here, you're going to have to take the bottom out. And we'll show you a little bit on that. I've already filed, I've got the start of another can. Now, this is an alcoholic one here. But now, to take the bottom out, you just take a flat file and file it. You can see where I filed the edge here. And you can take a knife, and I got a dull knife here that should do just as well.
Stem it down so you can cut it easier.
That's right. If you look close, you'll see where you're looking at the plastic, right down the middle of it, you see here? That's how I knew where it stopped. If you go any further than that filing, you're gonna crease this thing and collapse it. So you have to leave enough on here, so when you push this down in, you gotta have enough ridge here for reinforcing so it doesn't collapse. Now, if it collapses, it's not the end of the world. Because there's a way out of it. Well, I know I can get this one open. So I get into the edge. It comes like Christmas, okay. The bottom is out. And you could put it in like that. I prefer cleaning it up a little bit. And then scraping a little bit. But I use a and I get some of the birds off when I do it. And I may not finish this. I'll just give you an idea how it works. I'm just taking off that rough edge, really. I like to run a knife around it so that it actually gets rid of some of the birds. That's about what I have on me. Now this one is going to go into a parsonage. That's why it's non-alcoholic. Okay, now the bottom. If you got any pride in it, you might want to sand it down and then stain it. And this is made to take apart so that you don't, because there's a nut down here. Now, when I tighten this nut down, I've got a piece of 3/8 solid rod. I put that in the vise, and I sock that down. I use a rusty nut because that's below the contact. That's what I had. There's a lock washer under it here, and there's a washer below here. And the main reason for that is when you draw this down, you're allowed to pull that nut down into the wood. The nut pulls down into the wood and you rotate the can, the nut loosens up and you've lost all your references on the inside. So that's the importance of a washer here. If you look down in the cans, there's a washer here to give it. You have to sand the bottom of the can. How are you going to get your hand down in there? Well, some people can. I use a stick like this with a piece of sandpaper that Karen got. It's got a sticky back. And I just get down in there and sand the bottom of the can. The maximum current is at the bottom of the can, so you have to have pretty good contact. There's a washer there, and there's a nut just above it. 3.5 inches up from the bottom, you drill a hole plumb through the big bolt. I may not have an extra bolt here. There's a 3/8 bolt. .3/8 bolt up through the bottom of this thing here, and a 632 screw through the thing. Once I get a screw on it, I put a nut on it and a lock washer. Then I draw that inner bolt tight until that 632 starts to bend. Then I know it's tight. You'll notice that there's a piece of flexible contact on that bolt, solder. You have to tin the bolt first, of course. You have to put a heat sink on the braid, otherwise it soaks it up like the solder wick. And then you don't have a flexible contact. If you'll see here how that flexes on the inside, in a minute we're going to solve some of that. But that's why we use the flexible stuff. Now when you solder that to the center conductor, yeah, you have to put a heat sink down in there too, and try to get a soldering iron on the tip of the thing. So, and putting four nuts on the inside is like putting a ship model in a bottle. I don't know if you've seen that. If you see one of those ship models and they got a rope wrapped around the bottom, you know they're cheating. Because they put a string around it, light the thing with kerosene on it, the bottom pops out when they drop it in cold water. And then they can put the model up in. They don't have to have hinges and everything else on the booms and the yard arms of the ship model. So when you see that rope around the bottom, you know they're selling you something cheap. Now the stuff that was made in the sailing vessels days, they sell for thousands of dollars. You wouldn't believe what they get for those things. Everything has to fit through that neck. They use a bunch of fine pliers and whatever else, and strings to pull the thing up with a hinge on each of the masts. It's unbelievable what they. Of course, they had plenty of time in sailing time. Let's see where we're at. Okay, let's solve some of this flexing, and we've got some pieces of this stuff. Now I'm going to just set it down here.
That ain't what you took out of the.
Yeah, you're right. I cleaned out that hole. So I'm going to put it on there. I cleaned that up with a rat tail file. And this is just a piece of plumbing stuff here off a commode. But it's enough to hold it.
Where do you get the aluminum rod?
I don't know, 6-meter antennas, but I'm out of that. I got short pieces. I got pieces about 18, 20 inches. So I'm going to make one with 2 splices, one here and one there, and it'll let you collapse it down to carry it.
If you ever run across anybody that's throwing away their old TV antennas, grab them, because that's where a lot of that material comes from.
That's right.
But they're not as good as solid. That's a solid tube in there, TV antenna.
Yeah, this is solid, but I've made them out of TV tubing, and in order to get one inside another, of course, you have to neck it in a little bit with a pair of pliers so that it'll cram down in. You have to clean the contact, but you can take it apart as long as you have a total length, and we'll get into that a little bit. Okay, we were going to reinforce the thing here, so let's just get this out of here. All right, now this thing here is to give a positive contact. If you don't have it here, you can have a resonant place 3 or 4 inches apart.
Got a rubber band tied around that? Got a rubber band tied?
Spaghetti. All right, you see how big it is. All right, now it'll squash. In fact, that piece took enough off. That was a little bit too tender with that one. Let me try another one. Now, these flakes are non-conductive, so let me do it a little bit more gentle. That's right, that's a sharp edge. And I've nicked myself. But that gets tight, you see. Okay, now we work it down slow on the outside edges. What we're trying to do is get rid of some of this flexing. We've already solved some of it.
Is it a good idea to push that down as far as you can, close to the top of it?
Right down to the
braid in there?
right down to the coax fitting.
Yeah.
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 And you can almost, it's starting to show a little bit of resistance. Okay, now you can't see the inside anymore. but you know what it is. And I just made some diagrams of this thing. Okay, we got a can here. I left the top edge here. Now, it's got plastic in it, but there's no current at the top, so we're gonna leave that one. Okay, I kind of look at the pattern to see where the Arizona lands up or that thing there.
How'd you clean the bottom of that can? How'd you clean the bottom of that can? How did you clean the bottom of it?
Around the outside,
Yeah, outside.
Oh, yeah, it has to be sanded. And I've sanded about an inch around here. When you put the third can on, sometimes the second can goes in a little bit further. So that's why I sand about twice as much in here as I've sanded. I've taken out about, what, 5/8, 3/4 of an inch here. But let me see if I can get this thing started without cutting myself. Well, how about that? It's not quite in line now. And you can get these apart even if they're pushed plumb down. Okay, there we go. But you have to kind of watch your hand. I have used a rag sometimes, but, okay, we're about halfway. All right, if you want to get it straight in line, then you do this here. Well, we got a long way to go yet. Now, in the process, the inner surface is longer than the outside surface, because you got that lip where the signal has to go up there, come around the little indentation and go back up. So you're probably adding close to a ½ inch at each of the joints. So you want to have a total of about 19 and a half. We got a little ways to go yet.
Is that real critical at 19 and 19
No.
and a half?
No. How wide is the amateur
Ballpark.
band?
Yeah.
You know, a
Ballpark.
quarter wave, it's about 1/4 of an inch per megacycle.
Yeah.
So there's an inch variation between. I'm still showing some there here. And we haven't collapsed it yet. Or without cutting your hands, too. Now, I cut it, and then I try to get some of the furs off of the mouth. We're not far, we got another 1/8 of an inch to go. Let's settle for that. Let's see if it's actually straight. Well, looks like better, okay? Now I put some reinforcing into this one, just on general principles. And I've already got some of this stuff here. We'll try to get it in there without breaking this one. You see, we got close to a 3/8 of an inch that I'm compressing. How about that? Okay. Now, we can do the same thing here. We're going to put 2 of these in. We're going to put one a little bit below the center, and then another one just below where the next can goes. It helps to make it. See, this has become pretty rigid here. All of this so we get the voltage away. This is called an end-fed antenna. as far as I can reach. I would push it down with something else too. But we're about, yeah, we can push a little bit with this. Okay? Now the second piece. And this one is going to be just below where the top can is. We're not going to have any insulation in the top can. The best insulation you have is there, so we're not on this stuff even though it's very good insulation. We're going to keep it below the top can.
I was gonna say, really, that's just can from collapsing anyway, keeping that
Pretty much,
semiconductor out of the center of the
Yeah,
can.
because at the point here, you've got this here,
Yeah.
but I like to give it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Funny. Also keeps your keys from falling down too far in there so you can get them
That's
later.
right. Barbara's not here.
Yeah, she didn't come tonight.
That was in her bedroom, as a matter of fact. I'll try to live it down.
There you go.
Devil.
That's about where the next can is gonna go, but I can push it down with this one. Okay, and I try to line it up with that little picture on top. And of course, this will make it easy to push. How about that? Okay. It looks pretty much in line. Can you see it back here? Well, these pictures here that are in line. Actually, this one here, but this one here is over here. That one should be around the other way. Shall we take it apart and do it again? No.
Sounds like it's yours.
Okay, fine. Just don't tell Randall. Okay, now here you have to grab the second can. If you grab it down here, you're probably gonna push the second can further down in. This is gonna not go in. So I grab it here and you see here? You can see it go in. Because I'm pushing one other. And I don't have big arms, so if I can do it, anybody can. It's about a quarter of an inch to go. I didn't bring a ruler with me, but somebody's got a little tape we can measure, but it turns out. Yeah, I can see a little bit showing here, so I can work that down from here. How about that? Looks like it's pretty well centered. That's usually a tip off that's pretty straight. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to pour the coal to it, and we'll see if the SWR is reasonable. All right, now there's a residue mark there. Now, where do you put this thing here? The bottom of these things are supposed to be 15 inches up here, about a halfway above the bottom of the can. So we got to slide that one down, my guess is, because this one does affect the tuning on the thing. Now, these are not all that straight, but I'll live with it.
Well, Fritz?
We'll talk about making that element up there too, Fritz.
Yeah, okay. All right, Steve has got a collection of them over there. They're 2.5 turns wrapped around this top section. Now, I've got some solid rod when I bend it, and they don't turn out to be round, so you have to take a pair of pliers. And 2.5 turns gets one on facing one facing the other, and then fold it down. Then you measure 7 inches from this bend here. They don't look like they're exactly in line, so some ought to be cut off. I don't have a ruler. but it'll be close enough. 7 inches is a quarter wavelength on 440. So what it does is the 440 signal comes up here. When it sees this, it comes back up, folds back down on itself, and cancels everything up above. So that you have a half wave on 440. At the same time, you have a half wave all the way up on the other one.
For the spread on those things, is that critical?
I don't think so. Something like that seems to work. Now, I don't have a 440 signal source. If somebody has one of those, we can adjust that for optimum.
Hey, Fritz? Didn't it, in the past, didn't it used to be critical to tune the 2-meter section first before you actually went to the,
I found out when you put that on, your 2-meter adjustments are changed.
oh, okay.
It does have an effect on it. So with that in place, I'll just take a chance that I got 15 inches. This looks like about a foot to me, and that's approximately right. So it'll be close enough. Before I get too far away, I've already punched out a couple of cans here. I want to show you. Yeah. Notice the difference here. There's close to a ½ inch difference. One of these is made 3½ inches here from the lip. This one is 3½ inches from the inside part. Now, I haven't sanded the inside part. It's a round one, and that screws up the works as far as tightening. But anyway, either one of them will work. I always make the distance from the bottom of here to the bottom of that inside nut 3½ inches up. So it'll accommodate this with a little bit of a lean to it, and it'll be fine. But this is in the future. These are alcohol. All right, let's put some power into it, and we can steal some. I got batteries, but I'm gonna say.
You had some diagrams of this?
Art is not the diagram.
I still have anymore. I had a diagram basically showing what he made back then.
I didn't get to see the inside of it. That phone.
I used to have a diagram of it.
If you email me,
Is there a
I'll
copy
put
of
it
the
on the
file?
scanner and scan it and shoot it back to you.
Take the phone, cut the head, stuff, and cut it down. Active beam, and it's the 3 more sufficient to go into that phase. And then it's got-
Okay, let's move it over.
Goes from each. So,
That's about as far as I- Okay, let's see what it does. I got a 1.7 at 147. Let's see.
I got 148.
All right, that's about 142.75. What that means is that we got a 2 on. So we're going to shorten it up a little bit. I'm just guessing. All right, we got a 1.1, let's see. 143.9 something is 1.0. Okay? We need to put a mark on that now since we found it. And I think I got something to put a mark on it. Maybe. Yeah, here we go.
Got a Sharpie?
Now, we should have gone for the short end first, because some of that's gonna be obliterated when I slide it. Because in order to go to the top end of the band, can you follow me with the dingus? Okay. Let's hope we don't erase it. I'm gonna go a couple of inches. Just,
you want me to move?
You're fine.
Okay, now, okay, we've gone to 1.7, which is a good enough figure. All right, let's go down. 1.0 is 148.03.
Wow.
We put another mark. That was pure. I
I
know it's a couple of
twice
inches
in a row.
decline.
Yeah, that'd operate on the 315 machine.
Yeah, let's put it halfway and see how bad it is without having to fiddle with it, okay? We'll kill it. Maybe halfway, let's see what it is here. All right, that's 146.8 something. We're gonna go just a little bit longer. Okay, that's 6.2. You're gonna go to the center. 1.0 at 146.2 something. Let's call that the middle of the band. All right, let's go to one side or the other without fiddling with it. All right, 147, 9 something, 1.3, one end of that. So you can live with that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go up where we had, oh, the other mark stayed pretty good. Let's see what it became like. No, we're gonna leave it at the middle, excuse me. I was getting away from myself. That's close enough, all right. Now we're gonna go to 144 and see how bad it is.
Shouldn't be that bad.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Guess what it is? 1.2.
I'll
Put it halfway and forget about it.
I was gonna say, what is that? Yeah.
All right, when you move this around here, of course, you have to get close to 15 and a half inches. And my guess is we're pretty close to it there.
It's all right, I'll give you $1 for it.
That's right. Because see, watch what happens here now. Let me put it optimum in the middle here. It's pretty broad. It's 145.6 something. It stays at 1.0 up to 146. All right, now watch what happens to the meters. Nothing here. We're still 1.0. I'm grabbing the can anywhere I want. Of course, I'm getting close to this. All right, now I'll get my hand up here. I'm already 2 to 1. So that'll tell you it's pretty sharp. I've only added about an inch, so 1.7. You go up here and touch the thing, I'm 3 to 1.
Wow.
And I don't feel a thing. Well, for a tenth of a watt, I can.
I was gonna say, let's put a couple more watts in that and see if you don't change your story.
You do it. You can probably draw sparks off it with 25 watts. Okay, how about questions? I know you got some questions. The time involved is probably 3 or 4 hours total. By the time you get.
Okay, well, I was gonna say, now that you've established that, now it's time then to go ahead and set this piece with the measurements, with, the 15 inches from the top of the can, and then remeasure again.
Probably so. I don't think you can detect much of a change from this, as long as you're in this area here.
Rob, I'd like to ask you a question.
What's all that horn blasting?
Hey, Bud, you was talking about that
Somebody's
connection in there from the rod, it goes to the center connector of this fitting here.
Right.
Oh,
I didn't get to see it really before you put the phone in there, but that's okay.
It's a piece of braid off some small coax. And you can solder the end of it wrapped around that bolt external. But you have to put a heat sink on it.
It goes up, it curls down to the very bottom of that connection, right? Not at the thread.
Well, you've got a bolt going through that middle rod, right in line with it.
Oh,
And it's moved about 45 degrees here, and there's about an inch of flexible braid between there and the center.
I missed that one.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a little screw going.
That's the number 6 you were talking about.
The number 6. Once I put a nut on and tighten it up, then I file the threads off and tin it. I use soldering paste, and it soaks up solder like a wick. Now, when you put the braid on it, yeah, you have to put a heat sink on just as it leaves it, otherwise it's going to suck and you'll have a solid piece. So you're trying to keep something flexible here. You see, you got a little bit of movement on that thing, even though we put something in there. You don't ever have to go in. I have taken them completely apart and put them together again. When somebody dropped it or cut a hole through the side, yeah, it'll all come apart.
You fixed one line one time, when the bottom SO239 got jerked out the bottom of the can. She fell down the stairs
okay.
one night.
Good.
Yeah.
I had forgot about that.
Yeah, toward the bottom of the can, you had to put a new bottom section on it.
It worked all right.
Sure did, I still got it.
Yeah, I have taken them apart for any number of reasons.
Well, yeah, for the most part.
I don't know of anything else I have to tell you about it.
Same brand.
Uh,
Ice House can.
So I appreciate y'all having input on the thing too.
Thank you, Fritz.
Thank you, Fred.
I'll take my cans and go home.
Yeah, it's going on YouTube.
This is gonna be a pretty one. Southpaw. It's a good can. All the cans are interchangeable. Those are the same size, the same thing. And just,
Three of them, same kind.
yeah, I like it.
Fritz, if you're gonna use 12-ounce cans, how many?
12-ounce cans require 6 of them.
6 of them.
Right.
Those are 20.
It's
4?
24.
How about 16 ounce?
That's a better choice because it puts the fitting closer to the top of the bottom can. And you don't have to get down there. I can sand the bottom, my hands are small enough. But it's easy enough to sand the inside. The outside of a 16 is thinner than this. This has actually got a thicker side. But I've got a miller with 4 cans. It takes 4 cans of 15. You got one more splice. But 16 is actually easier to handle as far as getting a heat sink in. When you solder the center conductor to that bolt, and to that flexible stuff, you got to put a heat sink down in there. I use a pair of forceps and hope for the best. Sometimes it slip out of the connector, so you have to get it in line again. A pair of long nose with a rubber band around it will work, except that it's so heavy that it'll tend to sink down in unless you put a board across or something. But there's all kind of devious ways of soliding. And I got plenty of this stuff if anybody wants. Now, if somebody wants to get a couple of bases and do some sanding on it, then I'll put an antenna on it for you. I'll just leave it here with you.